G'day everybody, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so this is just another further installment in this whole the grumbling phase, if you like, of my my issues with the way the Linkwitz Lx521 flat pack timbers were shipped to me from Germany. So we're talking about, you know, essentially something that was very heavy, quite heavy. When those boxes arrived, they weighed quite a lot. They were a bit of a struggle to pick up, to be honest. You're looking at 30 odd kilo boxes of HDF timber, you know, panels. So there was a lack of packing material or protection between each of the timbers, and as a result of that, there were lots of scuffing in the veneers, and even in some cases chipping in the very corners, especially on the top baffles. I'll show you that a bit more clearly now. Obviously, we didn't go with those top baffles because of the failure that happened, and someone suggested may that have been on the channel in comments, may that have had something to do with the failure of that particular baffle. It could well have caused or been a contributing factor. It's hard to know, but looking at the failure and where it failed, and I'll show you a bit more closely in a minute, of what is indicative of a manufacturing fault in the HDF that this kit was made out of. I've seen it before. It's a man-made particle board, so therefore it goes through a manufacturing process. And if there's a fault or something, or a dry section in the manufacturing of the board, you can get typically what I've seen and have got evidence of on this particular top baffle. So I'll go through that and show you that. It may not be necessarily the case with the other baffle, because it's hard to know where they were cut out of the whether they were corresponding, you know, baffles, or whether they're all stacked up and then two are pulled out to fulfill an order. It's just impossible to know that. The other baffle seems to be fine, but obviously we had a major failure on one of them, and that led us to lose confidence in that material. And so therefore, as you know, and you'll about to see in the upcoming videos, the putting together of the sandwich aluminium Panzerholz that we eventually went with. But let's at the moment have a look. I'll spin the camera around. We'll have a look at the boxes and the condition the boxes came to me in. And imagine there's lots of flat pack, you know, sort of heavy timbers. HDF is quite heavy, and they're sliding around. Now they weren't sliding around a lot, granted, but the top baffles were sitting on top of the stack of timbers. So when you open the box up, that's the first thing you saw, and they were not secured. They were literally able to move around, and there's some damage that you would suspect is evident by virtue of the fact that they were moving around. But anyway, let's spin the camera around and we'll have a look at this. This box had a lot of flat pack timber in it. Now I've used some of the packing material since then, but essentially it had these things sort of sitting in the sides here as protection, and you know, and a piece along the bottom, you know, like that, and literally pieces running down the sides here. So essentially it was a single box. So this is one box. All of these heavy timbers came in one box, and you can see what's happened here. Now, I didn't tape this box up. This is how this box came to me. So I would suggest that somewhere along the way, and I don't know this for sure, but I can only assume that somewhere along the way, the timbers have gone into the corner of this box and split this box open, and somebody somewhere along the way in transit has run some tape around this box to try and keep it all together. Because again, this side here, you can see again, it's split. And this is how this box came to me. This is how this box arrived from Germany. You know, there's literally tape everywhere. This side doesn't look to be split. If you look in there, you can see there doesn't seem to be any split there or here, but certainly here on the inside, that has split, and this has split, and that's just how the box came to me. So there was a lack of polystyrene foam or foam sheeting in between the veneers. And sitting on the very top here of either this box or the other box over here that I'll show you was essentially the two top baffles. So again, you know, there's holes in the side of this box here. See this? All of that was how the box arrived to me, you know, holes here. And again, all of this single boxed, not double boxed, which, you know, you would suggest, if you look down over here, for instance, you know, there's fatiguing in this single box. It had these, if you like, these reinforcement sections that were placed in the corners and across the top and the bottom of the box, but very, very, very minimal packing material. And on the top of one of these boxes, you know, we've got this baffle here. Now, of course, it didn't have the base attached to it. It was just a flat, and these were sitting in the top of the box, able to move around like this backwards and forwards. And as a result, you know, you can see, now I'm not sure if we can actually, if I can get this so that you can see, but okay, let's get some light here, see if this makes it easier. But you can see that scuffing in there, those lines that run along here. There, that's a little clearer to see. That's all scuffing that's happened. It's not the veneer, it's scuffing that's happened across the top. So I had to, and this is as good as I could get it. You know, this was you know, not great, and it was, and I had to sand them all to essentially get the you know, the worst of it out. And then if we look over here, you can see, you know, all this damage in this back corner here along this edge. Let's get closer angles on it. You know, all of this is all because things have been crashing into each other and causing issues. If you turn it over, I think there was some more over here that you can feel it with your finger when you run around the edge of it. But anyway, here is this fractured baffle. So obviously you can see the glue that I was using was so good that it actually tore the veneer off the HDF. But you know, if you look in this corner here, you know, quite easily you can see pieces of this stuff that are, you know, they look at this. I'm just rubbing this between my fingers here, and you can see it on my fingers. It's dry. It doesn't look like, you know, look, I can put my fingernail through this. This is HDF. You know, it's literally crumbling apart. You know, and this is what we see in the pictures here. It's very, very dry and crumbly in where it broke in these two corners, and this one sort of broke right through the screw hole here. You can see that's the screw hole. This stuff's really dry. It's I mean, it's not any fault of Dr. Brenner or of Linkwitz in general. I don't blame them for this at all. I do blame them for the lack of packing and protection of the timbers. Absolutely, that is their fault, and I'll call that for what it is. But the the damage to the veneers is all essentially lack of packing material to protect timber veneers. And a lot of work had to go into sanding all of those pieces of material to get them to a in a position where I could be happy with putting the system together for Paul and then oiling the veneers to try and disguise a lot of those very fine and some not so fine scratches and scuffs that happened essentially in transit. But that top baffle over there is a failure. It's just, to me, very much looks like a manufacturing failure of the HDF, and it just happened to be right through, right through this very narrow section here on the other baffle, which is the weakest point of the top baffle. So now that's my grumble essentially in relation to this kit and how it was packed. It could have been better. There's just no other way for it. We've managed to solve all those issues though. The kit, everything's looking wonderful now, but there's a lot of extra work that had to be put into this. This speaker system is not cheap, and so therefore I would have expected a much better packing effort than what I witnessed here when I got this kit and started unpacking it. So anyway, that explains what's going on here. It gives you a bit more explanation around the failure of the top baffle and why we lost confidence in it. But where we've gone now is remarkably better, both sonically and structurally. So we couldn't be happier with the results. We'll go into that further. So stay tuned for the next section of all of this.